Whoa, another episode already? That's right, I'm gonna try to be quick with these ones. So in this episode, we tour a fancy new platform, automate some blocks used for sifting, make a farm, and even set up applied energistics with a wireless terminal to allow us access to all our items anywhere from our fancy new platform. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, it might look like I did a lot off camera, but it's actually not that much. I just basically built this little platform that we can work off of, and I upgraded our chests up to diamond tiers, and I put these stack upgrades in there. So now each one of these stacks can hold up to 1,024 items, and the diamond tier holds this many slots. So let's see, how many slots is that? 203 slots. And each slot can hold 1,024 items, and we have 8 of these chests set up. So we have a ton of storage. This will probably hold us over until much later. And I upgraded our furnaces to diamond tiers as well. They just go a little bit faster, and we'll have the option to upgrade these to use electricity later on once we're generating power. I have my pit over here. The other ones are empty. Our sieves are here, and I made this little area over here that's going to be for generating resources, like cobblestone with the generators. And then we have this area, which will be a farm. I ran out of dirt. So speaking of dirt, let's get into doing some dirt. As I was growing trees, I made a, what do you call it? Flint shears. Well, actually iron shears too, because I had a ton of iron. And I gathered a bunch of oak leaves, and we can turn these oak leaves into dirt inside of one of these barrels. And hopefully I can use this guy. So let's set that up. How about next to this guy? Let's grab one of those cobblestone things. And by the way, these things, I just made chisels. So we have a couple different chisels in this pack. But you put the cobblestone in there. It's this chisel. And you can pick whatever ones you want. So I'm using stone and cobblestone. And then pick whatever pattern that you want. And then just use your wand, your stick, to build it out. As you're doing that, you can put something in your offhand, and then the stick will build whatever's in your offhand. And then there should be a hotkey for undoing as well. So if you go under keybinds category and search construction sticks, the undo operation, so we'll set that as Shift U. And it looks like that's being used by other things too, but we'll deal with that later. And then we are going to put the oak barrel down here and this on top. And hopefully we can connect, let's grab those leaves. And a piece of dirt. We'll go over there. And hopefully we can make some pusher and puller upgrades. All right, so we have a puller upgrade and a pusher upgrade. And I'm hoping this is gonna work. So we're gonna put both of those in there. The pusher is going to push down. So that went in there, and that's going to turn into dirt inside of the barrel. And then we're going to use this to pull from the bottom as well. And so once the dirt is done, it should come back up here. There it is. So this is fully automated. It's going to get some dirt for us. We just have to toss leaves in there, and it'll work. All right, let's take a look at this. So when you're sifting things, there's going to be a bunch of different resources like end stone, gravel, dust, crushed, like all of these blocks, blackstone, deep slate. And I want to try to automate as many blocks as we can. The ones that we need with these guys. So it'll be nice to be able to do this. The only problem is, so something like Witchwater, okay? Or like if you're doing obsidian, the obsidian one will consume lava. So if you have a source lava next to it, it's actually going to consume that. But you can put it 1 block away and it will flow. It'll consume the flowing, but then it keeps flowing, right? And it can give you obsidian that way. I don't love that mechanic. I wish it didn't consume those. But I don't know which ones are being consumed and which ones are not. So the obsidian one is an obvious one, but like Netherrack, for example, I don't know if that one will work. So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Let's grab our... Guys, I did make some of these. And we'll just put them in the middle. I don't like having the water and the lava up on surface level, so that's why I moved it down 1 block. But we are going to need to move the drawers up 1, so the drawers will be on ground level. And that means we're going to be needing some pipes, and this is probably the only time I'm going to use pipes, because the rest of the time will be Super Factory Manager. So let's make that. And we are going to want to grab the wrench as well. So 2 flint. All right, pretty easy. Oh, does that not work? You gotta be kidding me. Dang it, these things suck. Give me the old cobblegen blocks. You didn't have to even put lava and stuff around. It just made cobblestone. It was so nice. So it's the pipe is not connecting. So it looks like we have to have an inventory on top that's going to automatically output to them. It's not meant to be, guys. We're just not supposed to use pipes. That's what it is. So I'm actually going to delete them. It was a curse. I don't want to curse this series from the beginning. Let's make some barrels, and we can use puller upgrades. That'll be fine. So the barrels will go on top, and I guess maybe we could even just leave it like that. But I'm going to want to put drawers on top, I think. Once we can actually make, I'll leave it like this for now, and once we can actually make the 1x1 drawers, once we get applied energistics going, then I will put those guys up. So let's see what we need to do. One side, I should be able to put just water down, or lava. On this first one, I'll go ahead and put down our compacting drawer for cobblestone. And let's grab a few stacks of those so this can make lava for us, because we'll need a bunch. And then let's go ahead and grab a puller upgrade for that one. So from the down direction, it's going to be pulling cobblestone up. Alrighty, here's our bucket, and we can put lava down here. We might have to change this fluid based on what we're making, and we'll just deal with that as we go. So let's go ahead and take a look underneath these guys. So this first one should be okay. It's, how do I want to do this? And we can go down below like that and break all of these blocks. All right, and this will allow us to put whatever below it that we need. So the first one is cobblestone. We'll just leave it as cobble. Then let's see what other things we need. The stone uses up the water. So we can put stone underneath right there, but we'll have to bump this out 1 more block so the water flows here. Or actually maybe, since if it has water on the 2 sides, when it consumes this water, it's just going to refill it with the ones on the side. So that should be okay. Witchwater we will put at the end with the glowstone, and I don't know if that one consumes the witchwater. I hope it doesn't, but it probably will, because it seems like that mod is annoying. So we'll set that all the way at the end over here. So that's going to give us the witchwater. And if it does consume it, then we'll bump it down and just have it flow. Let me actually, instead of doing it 1 by 1, I'm going to set it all up, and then I'll bring you guys back and show you what's going on. Okay, this should be good for now. So the first one, we're going to have cobblestone. The next one will be stone. We have sky steel dust, kivy, andesite. This one, I don't know what to do yet, so we're going to leave blank. The cobbled deep slate requires packed ice, which we don't have yet, but basically the packed ice is going to serve as a barrier between our regular water and our Witchwater. So the Witchwater will go here, packed ice here, and then water there, and that'll allow us to have all of these next to each other rather than leaving a gap in between, because you can't waterlog these. So I can't like waterlog a piece of water here and then put the Witchwater next to it. That doesn't work. So that's how we're going to deal with that. Which means we can close that and then, or this guy, and then these two will be Witchwater. And hopefully it's not going to consume the Witchwater, but I doubt it. So let's cover all this up. Okay, let's put down our water. And I made a sink. Pretty easy to do. Just smelt down some of the clay that you got to get terracotta. And then with some iron, you can make a sink. Infinite water. So we will do this. I think Alright, so this one's giving us cobblestone, and you can see the polar upgrade is pulling it into here. We're getting stone in this one. Sky stone dust. That is very fast. That's crazy. Kibby, andesite. So none of these ones consume it. We're getting more cobblestone here, I guess, which is fine. Which one was that? Was that the andesite? No, that's the andesite. Anyways, that's one we didn't have yet. Okay, so now we just need the Witchwater. Let's go ahead and make some of that. So in order to make Witchwater, we will need mycelial seeds. And that comes from sieving dirt, which is why we set up this dirt thing. And we already have a stack. But let's grab that dirt. I'll put one in there just in case. Let's fill this in. And we're going to need to sift this dirt for mycelial seeds, and we want to take a look at the percentages. So if we do with the string mesh, there's a 3% chance. Flint is 5. Iron is 10. Gold is 13. Diamond is 10. So you can see that once you get up to the diamond tier, the chance drops from 13 to 10%, so it goes down. And then the netherite one is 20%, which obviously we don't have netherite yet. But diamond is unfortunately lower than gold for mycelial spores, but 10% is good enough. So I'm just gonna go for it. We don't need the stone pebbles. The deep slate, I guess I can keep. And check out what I found. It's good that we got carrots. Take a look at this. If we combine those allthemodium nuggets that we're getting from sifting with the carrot, we get 160 saturation. I don't know if that's going to be patched or fixed or whatever, but that's going to be our food source. So let's before we forget, make a hoe. Oh. And grab a bucket of water for this guy. And then we want to plant some carrots. Does this work? And maybe I should have done this before. Let me show you how I've been doing the lights in the middle here. So you can see it's glowing right there. So you see how these yellow X's are on. That means it's kind of dark over here. And if we walk away, we can potentially spawn some monsters here. That you get that outline by pressing F7. So usually when I place skyblock maps, I just leave this on so I kind of know where everything is lit up. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm gonna open that up and grab one of these framed blocks. Really easy to make, just with some planks and sticks and a piece of glowstone. So now we can put this plank or the framed cube down there. And when we right click any block, it'll take the shape of that block. So now it's framed as exactly as this one. So that's why it looks, and it works with connected textures. So it looks exactly the same. And then if you click a piece of glowstone, it'll glow. So now this entire area is lit up. And when we put the water down, we don't need to, you know, do a weird torch or glowstone thing over here. So those guys will grow. Let's go take a look at our Aldermodium. And by the way, the stakes I got from my quest. Usually I forget about quests. I don't really look at them. But this very, very first quest, you get 16 stake from it. So claim that. That'll help you out in the beginning. And then the rest of these, we're gonna make 4 of these Aldermodium carrots, which are great. These Aldermodium nuggets come from sifting sand in a diamond mesh. So it's pretty easy to get. It only has a 1% chance, but I really didn't spend a ton of time sifting. So, alrighty, let's take a look at how we're gonna make Witchwater. I can just, whatever, put it here. So you put down a piece of dirt, you right click with those Mycelium Spores that you got from sifting dirt, and you get mycelial blocks, and you can put these barrels on top, fill them with water, and you can see that the progress bar is going up. So that is now making Witchwater. This guy's out of leaves. So let's set down some dirt over here that we can grow trees on. And having them spaced apart like this is going to give us more leaves. Looks like our Witchwater is done. Moment of truth. Do you consume? Oh, they don't. Oh, maybe Netherrack? No. So we are getting Netherrack and we are getting End Stone. Perfect. Let's put the other bucket of Witchwater over here. This seems very slow. Oh, it must have used the lava, huh? They're both using the lava. Okay, so we'll have to put another lava source over here. This seems so silly to me. Like, if you're gonna consume the thing, just don't. Because if you do it with the flowing one, just give us the normal one. I know it's a little bit slower, but it just seems like whack mechanics. Anyways, enough complaining. You can make it go faster. So right now you can see that it's going one at a time, even though these cobblestone generators can produce a lot more. So something that doesn't consume those blocks, like the kivy, you can see that it filled up super fast. But these other ones take a while because it can only make one at a time when it consumes the source. You can make it a little bit faster by either by placing lava down faster or making, like, if you put 3 source blocks all around, it'll flow into this block a little bit quicker. And that will also speed it up because right now it's, you know, taking a second for it to flow. But if you have more sources around, it'll be quicker. If that is something you cared about. All right, so there's some end stone going. And these guys are set up for now. Let's cover this up so it looks pretty again. And we no longer need this. By the way, when you break that, you do get dirt back. So watch out. So our goal for this episode, the main thing is to get a storage system going. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to be utilizing these chests with a storage controller from Sophisticated Storage. But that requires comparators, which requires nether quartz. And that is why we set up Netherrack. So we're going to have to start sieving Netherrack, and that'll give us nether quartz. We do have to crush those guys as well. So let's take a look at here. And Control K. Ta-da. So that gave us a ton of blackstone pebbles, which we will keep. Blackstone will be important. So blackstone can be made with lava and witchwater, but it doesn't have the cobblestone generator recipe in it. So maybe that'll get added in the future, but for now we can do it with the extractor as well. We just need to get ice, which isn't too bad to do either. So let's take a look at that. We have some nether quartz now, and we need to make this guy, which requires comparators. So let's do that. Okay, so we have a storage controller from Sophisticated Storage. We can place that over here, and you can see in the little Jade preview that it's showing everything that's inside of our storage. So this basically links all of these chests together, and we can interface with it with just this one block here. Now, we just need a way to interface with this one, so we need some kind of a terminal or whatever. There's a couple of options. We can do the storage lectern from ours, but that's going to be hard to do because it's going to require archwood, and we don't have that. I don't even know how to get archwood. You can get it in the market, so that's not too bad, or sifting moss. But I don't really want to get into ours right now. We could do the terminal from Integrated Dynamics, and this is a little bit of a thing too. And we're going to need slime balls, and also get the mineral sapling. So this one kind of seems like a lot of work also. Those are both great early game solutions, but in this mod pack, it's actually not that hard to get into applied energistics. So we're just going to go straight for applied energistics. We're just going to need a storage bus, which requires 2 pistons and an interface, and the interface is going to require these annihilation cores. So we do need to set up an inscriber to make the processors, and then also make some fluics. The fluics is actually not that hard. It's nether quartz that we have now, redstone, and charged certus cores. You get the charged certus as you sift sand. So I actually we have some nether quartz. So let's say I want like 10 of those guys, 10 redstone. And we'll grab 10 of these charged that we got from sifting sand. I also didn't do a ton of sifting. I did ore double everything, but you can see I only have a little over a stack of iron after making all the stack upgrades. So I maybe spent like half an hour sifting. Okay, let's take a look at this. We need a thing of water. Actually, we have a thing of water right here. So you just throw those guys down in there, and it'll convert into 20 fluics. Perfect. We do also need some kind of power to deal with all of this. And we can actually get started with mechanism with this metallurgic infuser, and then we'll make some wind turbines. So let's grab some cobblestone, and that gives us a metallurgic infuser. And we're going to need these basic control circuits, which is redstone and osmium. So let's grab some redstone we have, and osmium. I don't even know if I need 16, but we'll start with that. And if you didn't know, these machines, you can actually put your redstone on the side and it'll power it. So let's put some redstone here for the infusion material, some osmium there, and then we give it power with this redstone, and this will start working. So it's 160 millibuckets of that. So it's using 20 at a time. We're going to need 16 more redstone. Oops. So now this is going to make these basic control circuits. And what we want to make is the wind generator. And this also requires the infused alloy, which is copper. So we'll have to do the same thing with some copper. I'll make 16 of those as well. Right, and then the copper should be 1-to-1, I believe. So we just check here, it's 160. That went down to 150, so it's 10-to-1, I mean, but each piece of redstone gives you 10 millibuckets of infused redstone. All right, so with that, we are ready to make the wind generator. We need some osmium. Oh, actually, we need more of those things and gold. Ta-da! And we can put that back here, and this is going to generate around 50 FE per tick, which is not that much, but it should be enough for our needs. And the higher you put this, the more it'll generate. So right now it's spinning very slow, but if you take it up to a really high Y level, it'll spin much faster and create more power. But I don't think we're going to be using this for too long. It's just going to be to power our applied energistic system. Okay, let's take a look at what we need next. So we need to make an inscriber. One of these guys. And we power this inscriber by putting it directly against the wind generator. So now this thing has power. And we need to do a few things. So first we need to make some of these presses so we can make all those presses, and that's done inside of the inscriber. And you put skystone, a piece of iron plate that we can crush to iron with the ore hammer, and then whatever like gold, diamond, and then if you put silicone, for example, you're going to get the silicone press in there. So let's grab some of these Certus quartz dusts, and when you smelt those, that's how you get the silicone. So we'll put those inside of our new furnaces here. And pick up some silicone. And then we'll need diamond, gold, Certus. And those plates that are in this chest with this. So with the copper hammer, and then put 2 pieces of iron like that, and you can get these plates. We'll make 4 for now. And I think we also need to crush some of these fluxes, so I'm just going to put that inside of the inscriber, and that's going to start crushing those into crushed flux dust. All right, so we'll put those guys in, and the diamond one. This will make the engineering press. And by the way, there is no universal press. I don't know if that will be added later. That would be nice. Oh, we have phantoms. Love phantoms. Nice, we got a phantom membrane. That will come in handy very soon. So we're not going to need phantoms anymore, so let's go ahead and sleep. And then the silicone press. So let's take a look. Storage bus is the first thing we're going to need. And then the interface requires logic, 2 logic processors, and charge a normal Certus actually. So the logic one is there, and we'll put the 2 gold in there. And then we'll have to do 2 silicone and then combine them together. So change out the plate to the silicone one to make those. And with 2 pieces of redstone, we're going to get those processors. There's the interface and storage bus. The storage bus will go over here on our controller, and that's how it's going to connect all of our chests together. And then we will need some flux cable. Which is some Certus dust. All right, flux cable will go like that. We need a terminal. So let's take a look at the crafting terminal. And this guy requires the calculation one, which is with Certus. All right, and then we make the ME terminal, ME crafting terminal. And now you can see that this is out of power. We need to power it somehow. You can make a controller. It's not hard. You need these skystone to smelt it, more flux, and then an engineering processor. That's really easy. But if you are a applied energistics veteran, you might know that you can also just use an energy acceptor. And this is actually going to be enough for our system. So we put that in there. This is getting powered by our wind generator. And now we have applied energistics. That's it. Look at that. So nice. I'm going to also take a look into the wireless thing. So the wireless access point is going to require some ender pearls. And we can get that by crushing end stone. So let's do that because we do have the end stone over here automated. Look at that. We'll grab two stacks of compressed ones of those and put them down like that. Choop, choop. All right, and this should give us ender pearls. All right, that gave us a ton. And look at that, Draconium Dust. Draconic Evolution is in this pack, guys. How exciting is that? The Chorus Fruit will also come in handy. But let's put all of those in. The first thing I'm going to make is a magnet from Simply Magnets. And now we will no longer lose things to the void. We can put that inside of our charm slot, I believe. And let's set a keybind for that. It is H. That is not going to work for me. How about minus sign? And now we can turn it on and off at will. So if we take a look at this wireless receiver, we can actually make this. It's not that bad. We have this now. And then we need a calculation processor, so let me make that real quick. Here it is, the ME wireless access point that we'll just put up here. And hopefully we'll have enough power to keep up with that. It looks like it's okay so far. And then we will need to make a crafting terminal. Let's see if we can afford that. Looks like we will need more Fluix dust. We need 32 total. And we don't have any right now. I'm just finishing up the last few things we need to make for that wireless terminal. But I'm actually running out of redstone, so I need to make some more redstone. And I'm going to be just going crazy crushing a bunch of stuff now that you guys have seen this setup. But you know how when you do that, your inventory fills up super quickly and it makes things inconvenient. Well, I'm going to set up a little solution for this. We're not going to be doing this by hand very much, but this will make it really convenient. So this thing, I'm putting stack upgrades in there. So now this can store 16,000 in each slot. And we need a magnet. And the one from the item collector from Zycraft is really cool. We just need some gold nuggets. Brass. No, give me gold. Here's this guy. We put on top of the chest, like so, and this will pick things up. The cool thing about this is, you see how it like immediately picked it up? It doesn't actually let things drop into the world. So if you, let's say, do this guy, and we're going to blacklist, because it's going to pick up all this gravel. So I think the blacklist is on this side. No. The blacklist is... How do I blacklist this? All right, I can't seem to find the answer to how to blacklist with this item collector, which is kind of weird. So this is the whitelist for it when you set it up. And I can't do anything in the middle here. I don't know what that is. And this is the inventory that it puts down here. So we'll just take our gravel and go over here for now. That thing has a pretty small range, so it's not too big of a deal. But what I wanted to show you with it is that it picks things up before they become entities. We're still getting some items. That's because the item collector only has 9 slots in it. So anytime we drop more than 9 items, it's not going to be able to pick up the remainder of those, and we get those. This can be fixed by just adding another collector in the area. But we can keep this in here. or keep that on the barrel, and that'll collect all of our chunks for us. I'm ready to eat my first Aldermodium carrot. Let's see what it does to us. I don't know what the 160 is going to, if that, no, that doesn't look like it doesn't overflow, so it still only caps out at however many saturation bars you have. All right, so we're gonna make, oops, I need redstone. Redstone. We are going to be making this compacting upgrade, and let's turn it into the advanced version and put this guy inside of our barrel. Now, if you take a look at all of these ore chunks, so if we search chunk, you can see that they're all from X Durham. So we can filter this with, so we're going to have it allow, and it's going to match mod, and we only want to filter the stuff from that mod. And then we're going to have it work in GUI as well. So now, if we put those down, they should get compressed. We also want it to compact anything. That makes it so only the ones that can, like, you know how if you compact glowstone into a glowstone block, you can't uncraft that. So this wouldn't do the glowstone one. But if we have it compact anything, and we do this, it should compact all of our ore chunks, so we get the ores directly. Let's see, chunk. That was everything. So now everything that goes in here, it'll automatically get compacted down into their ore variants. I had my entire inventory filled with netherrack, and we sifted all of those through, and I didn't get any of the items. They all went in here. The blackstone, look at that, we got 1,000 blackstone from that. Just to compress the pebbles down. So that would have completely filled our inventory, and you have to do that whole thing. So this just makes it a lot more convenient when you're doing the work manually. So I thought I'd share that tip with you. Let's see if we can't make this darn thing. Here it is. We have the wireless terminal. All we do is put it inside of here to link it. And now we can open it up. It doesn't have power, so we do need to charge it. And we can just put that inside of our wind generator. And that'll very, very slowly charge it. Holy crap. But we can leave this here and just use our system like normal. And then at some point it will be full of charge. And then we also want, because right now it only has a 16 block range, we also want to upgrade the range on this one. So let's take a look at this guy. Requires another star. We're not quite at that tier yet, but we can just make these normal wireless boosters. So if we go ahead and put, oh, it only does it by 1. So we'll need a few more. Let's see, if we put 10, that's 47 meters. That should be enough for us to access this. Yep, so now our whole base is covered and we can have wireless access. And let's set up a keybind for that. We'll look for wireless terminal. Will be F. Because we no longer need our crafting table on a stick, we can do this and put it on our, inside of our curios. And now we have access to our applied energistics from anywhere in our little humble platform. Look who just showed up. And he's got a decent sword with looting 5, unbreaking and mending. So those are good enchantments. I'm going to grab that. And he also has wither skeleton skulls. So I'm going to grab those as well. Let's see what we can do here. We'll grab a sword and thank you very much. And how many? Oh, we can grab 3 of these wither skeleton skulls. Nice. Oh, we can do more actually. That means we can already spawn a wither. Nice. We got 5 wither skeleton skulls. I don't know if I really need anything else. So anyways, thanks for your service. All right, guys, I have made these single drawers. You can see I actually went ahead and installed the polymorph mod. So if we take a look at drawers, you can see this little button shows up, and now we can choose which recipe we want. This is from a mod called polymorph. So I added that. You most likely will not have to worry about this, because when the release version comes in August 14th, tomorrow, then this is already fixed, I believe, somehow. Okay, and then I went ahead and locked it with the configuration tool. And that means that when you take these items out, if it's completely empty, it will still remember what kind of item was in there, so it won't allow anything else to go in there. And they all have the puller upgrades that are pulling from the barrel below. So that is set up. In order to make the configuration tool, you do need paper. And paper is super easy. Just make this sawmill from productive trees. It's planks, iron, and a stone cutter. And you put that down and you feed it a log or some logs. And it'll process that down into sawdust, and each log will give you 6 planks. So you're actually going to get a little bit more wood than you would just crafting them. So you take that sawdust and you put it in your crafting grid, and it gives 6 paper for every 3. A great way to get paper early on. I can't believe we went 2 full episodes without using Super Factory Manager, but don't worry, we're definitely getting into it in the next one. Shout out to Teamy. He's the man, the mod dev for Super Factory Manager. I'll drop a link to the SFM Discord down below in the description, and also to Teamy's channel. So check that out. Also check out the All the Mods Discord. It's super active, and there are a ton of very helpful people in there. And I think that's it. That's all from me today. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next episode.